Okay, hello everyone. We're here, and it's another, excuse me, another edition of my live stream. I'm getting over a cold, so I apologize if I sound a little rough, but I'm doing the best I can here. But yeah, so like I said, I'm getting over a cold, so I apologize if I don't sound too great, but it is what it is, and as they say, the show must go on. So let's kind of recap what's been going on with me lately. Let's adjust the camera here. Go down a little bit. So last weekend, I gotta hide my try a new setup here, and there we go. Come on, focus. Last weekend, I was at East Lansing Art Festival. And so this was my one second here. I'm gonna mute my mic for a second. If I can remember how to do that. Whatever. I'll keep going. Anyway, so last weekend was my first art festival since 2023. So yeah, so I took the last year off. I didn't do any art festivals in 2024 because I wanted to take the year off and just take a break from art festivals. So East Lansing Art Festival last weekend was my first art festival since 2023. It went really well. It was my best East Lansing Art Festival and my best art festival appearance yet to date, if we don't count sorry, trying to like, if we don't, I just want to kind of like draw while I'm talking here. If we don't count 2021, because in 2021 I was in the East Lansing Art Festival, and that was the first art festival after like COVID lockdown. It was in August instead of May. And they had fewer artists, so it was not a full roster of artists. So there's a lot of factors that it's not not a one-to-one comparison this year versus 2021. So 2021 was my best art festival appearance ever to date, and my best East Lansing to date. This year was close to that, but again, it was the 2021 was such a excuse me, outlier that I don't like to compare other shows to it because it was so many factors were different. So if we just remove that, put an asterisk by it, and just don't worry about that, this year was my best bet, best one. Now, as to what I think helped this year, I simplified. Let's see, can I spell this? Simplified. Who cares? I simplified my setup. I wonder, let's, you know, I might be able to throw a picture up here on the do this widget thing. Let's see. Well, let me do this. Let's see. Widget. No, don't want that. Media, video and photo. Okay. Let's see here. All right. So let me pick a photo. Okay. Add. Okay, there we go. So that worked. So this is my booth setup for 2025. Thank you, Goose and Jonesy. Let's see, can I make this big? Yeah, there we go. Okay, we're getting multimedia here, kids. All right. So what I did for this year, you can't really see me pointing the stuff necessarily, but so this is my art festival tent. It's 10 by 10 trim line. It's the fancy art festival tents you see everyone have. So the main thing I did this year was all I had was my found cartoons stuff. In previous years, I had upwards of like 4 to 5 different styles and types of art available. Again, I apologize for my voice. I feel fine, I just sound terrible. But actually, we can do this. Hang on. Let's... No, I've done it. Okay. Let's do this. I can actually show you my tent from 2 years ago, now that I know this works. Bear with me here. If I had thought of this ahead of time, I could have prepared better, but this is working, so there we go. So this was my tent from 2023. You can see here, sort of, I have my like dragons and stuff here on the screen right side of the tent. They're just watercolor, you know, creature things I did. Further back in the tent is, actually, can I do this? Nope, that's not what I want to do. Okay. Just seeing if I can like draw on the screen while I'm doing this. Oh no, 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 we don't want that. Okay. Anywho, and I have further back on the right side, I have my 3 panel pieces, which are like sort of like comic strips in fancy frames. And then on the back wall is my found cartoons. And then kind of continuing on that whole wall to the left is more found cartoons. So I had my found cartoons, I had my 3 panels stuff, I had my watercolor dragons and other creatures. So I had like 3 styles of different things, which, you know, is fine. And actually there might be other stuff in there I'm just not seeing. I think there is actually stuff further in the back corner that's kind of... Can I zoom in? Yeah, so there's stuff in this further back corner that's also different, but anywho. Whoa, okay. So again, to compare to this year again, you can see it's all my found cartoon stuff. And I do feel that just kind of sticking with one thing really helped a lot. It, you know, it helped with setup. It helped with, helped me prepare for what to bring, what to make for the show. It made describing stuff to people easier because all I had to explain was, one thing. I didn't have to like explain for different styles of art. It was just all, one elevator pitch for the whole tent, which was good. Oops. Okay, accidentally zoomed in with the camera too. We're learning things tonight. Anyway, but I'm glad I tried this. It definitely made it a lot easier for the show. Excuse me. And as a result, it was my, best one to date. So I'm glad I tried it. This is what I'm going to be sticking with for my next show in there's another thing I can throw up on the screen here. So let's get rid of this. Go here. Media. So here's my upcoming events. Cool. I'm glad I can do this now. I can throw things up on the screen pretty easily. So I'll blow this up a little bit. No. Okay, that's what I gotta do. I gotta tap the image. So my next show is June 6th and 7th in Kalamazoo, the Kalamazoo Institute of Arts Fair in downtown Kalamazoo, Michigan. This is my first time doing the show, so I don't know what to expect, but hoping for the best. I in years ago did actually used to do stuff in Kalamazoo, animation wise. Back when they had like an animation festival, I was a part of that. That was like 20 something years ago. But then after that, towards the end of June, I'm going to be at Lansing Pride for the first time. And then in mid-July, I'll be at Scrap Fest. Now, the thing with Scrap Fest is I can only do stuff that utilizes recycled stuff, materials. So I'm like drawing on top of old encyclopedia pages and that sort of thing. And then after Scrap Fest is Art Feast in Old Town, which is just kind of a free-for-all as far as what I can bring and have and that sort of thing. And that's a one-day show. I'm sharing a tent with Steph. Pride's also a one-day show. I'm sharing a tent with Steph there as well. But hopefully you can make it out to some of those, and I'll see you there. Okay. All right. Cool. Well, now I know I can easily throw images up on the screen. That's handy. So yeah. Speaking of East Lansing, I got to show this off real quick. This is a little tiny pill bug that my booth neighbor, Emily, from 7 Magpies Pottery, or I don't know if she has pottery in her name, but she gave me, which was very nice of her. So I have that along with my wormy friends that Natalie made, who I ran into also at East Lansing. So I'm getting quite the little gang of weird little critters made by other artists, which is fun. Okay. So let's do some drawing. Try not to cough too much, but just doing what I can. Let's do one of these. This is again my 365 Days of Drawing Prompts book that I got in January of 2020, and I'm still working my way through, but that's okay. Okay, oh boy, so this one is a, I might have to move this up a little bit and over. Toothbrush is the prompt. So I was at the studio today, and I did manage to find my colored pencils. I like these a lot, these Faber-Castell Polychromos colored pencils. I got these at Odd Nod Art Supply here in Lansing. I am not really a fan of Prismacolor colored pencils. I've just not had very good experiences with them, like the lead breaking and stuff and all that. I realize they're kind of very popular and, you know, very common, but these are really nice. I like these a lot. Because the thing with these is, let's see here. I thought they did something special with these, but whatever. But these are really, I like these. This is a good set. It's got your basic colors. Yeah, I like them a lot. And I forgot I had them at the studio, and I should probably have those on me for the heck of it. Let's see, toothbrush. Oh, there's my... So this is another one of the Faber-Castell ones I have. It's a gray. It's more of a lighter gray. Cool Gray 2 is what they call it. Again, I like theirs. Actually, I should, if anything, take the white out of this and put the gray in there. But I have a Prismacolor black that I keep in my pencil bag, but I've been not impressed with the lead on these. It just like breaks really easily and almost even feels loose at the tip here. But anyway, but these Faber-Castell ones are really good. You got some gunk on the page here. Oh well. Nothing. I just thought of a dirty joke I could have done with this, but I'm not going to do that. I definitely wouldn't want to be a toothbrush. I don't know about you, but doesn't seem to be very appealing. Yeah. The other thing with these pencils is they blend pretty well if you're into that sort of thing. Oh. What's the next one? Bowl of candy. That'll be fun. Save that for next time. So yeah, I apologize if I'm a little rusty tonight. Just I wasn't able to do a live stream the last couple of weeks because of art festivals. I think I might be able to this coming Sunday. I have to double check. It depends when we get back from a show that Steph's doing. I can't remember if that's a Saturday only show or not. But you know, I'll post about it. That sort of thing. Guess we could do some sorry. Ugh. Can't wait till I'm completely over this cold. It's been a couple weeks. I mean, again, I feel fine, but I sound terrible. Goose and Jonesy tells me I will be unavailable next Sunday. So that means the next stream after tonight would be a couple weeks again. Yeah, it'd be after the Kalamazoo show. But I am actually sort of on vacation the next 2 days, so maybe I'll do an impromptu midday stream tomorrow or Tuesday or something. We'll see. But anywho, let's I had a lot of good compliments and feedback at East Lansing. People really liked my art. Like I said, I sold a bunch. I sold 18 of my 5x7 matted original found cartoons, which is always good. And it was my first event with my new prints. I sold a bunch of all those, which was good. And I actually even sold one of my big canvas originals on my wall, which was very nice. That sale alone paid for my booth for the weekend. So everything was cherry on top after that. Who doesn't love little weird pudgy cats like this, huh? Let's see here. I've been giving some thoughts as if Sunday nights at 8 is my best time for this. I've considered, I mean, during the week I don't have much variety because of my day job. So if it was Monday through Friday, it would have to be, you know, in the evenings regardless. I've considered maybe, you know, maybe I switch to, you know, early morning Saturday instead. Saturday afternoons wouldn't really be much better. Oh, because if we're, even if we're not doing art festivals, we tend to be pretty busy. You know, I'm at the studio or stuff, and you know, I could live stream the studio, but the problem at the studio is there's no Wi-Fi, so I would be having to use mobile, which I could do, but I would worry about the quality of the stream. So there is that. You know, and speaking of doing stuff on location, as it were, my attempts to do that at East Lansing both mornings really hit several walls. So that didn't work. I'm gonna pop in a cough drop here. So I apologize for the mouth sounds that's gonna make, but that might help me talk a little better and might cut down on me coughing. So we'll see how that goes. I don't necessarily want to end early, but if I have a hard time talking, I might have to. So anyway, Saturday morning at East Lansing, when we got there, like we set up Friday night, everything was fine. When we got to East Lansing Saturday morning, we had not realized that there were big windy storms overnight. And so when we were walking down our street we were on, MAC, we saw several tents that were knocked over, flipped over, demolished. The majority of those were like easy up type tents. So that's why. But Steph's tent was fine. I panicked for a minute because we were walking down the street. I could see her tent, and my tent was right next to hers on the opposite side, but I couldn't see mine. I was like, oh God, what happened? And then, but really the wind had just kind of pushed it like a foot out into the street, which I can, once again, show. Let's see if I can find a quick photo of that. So it could have been way, 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 way worse. Nothing was damaged as far as my art. Yeah, here we go. So this is about the extent of the damage to my tent. Stuff just got knocked around on the wall, and I had to rearrange it. It was more annoying than anything, but that meant that I was not able to have my half hour to do live live chat from my tent as I had planned. I did a bare bones, quick and dirty thing that you can still see if you click on my videos tab here, just as a quick check-in. But it was not what I had planned in the least. And then Sunday morning, I was all ready to go. Everything was fine, weather was fine, and I left my backpack with all my video gear back at home. So, and it also had my square reader and money for change and stuff in it too. So I had to, and I realized this at about 9:30 because I was going to get my stuff to do it, and realized I didn't have my bag, so I had to dash home. Thankfully, you know, we were only like 15 minutes away from home, and then get back, and I literally got back like right at 10 o'clock. Once again, did a quick and dirty sort of check-in thing for my tent, not to the extent of what I had hoped it would be, and didn't get a chance to do what I wanted to do. So I was very upset with myself over that, but the upside is I immediately had a sale at 10 a.m. So as much as I love doing the video stuff and live streaming, I will take making a sale over that anytime. So just making sure this is... Come on, autofocus. What are you doing? So yeah, so I didn't get to do my live stream stuff for my tents that I had hoped to. So I'm, given that I was 0 for 2 on that, I'm sort of hesitant about trying it again in Kalamazoo, but I think I probably will just for the heck of it, to hopefully see how it goes, and hopefully it will, you know, work better. I do need to spend more time familiarizing myself with my microphone and my gimbal thing so I can do stuff quicker, because that was part of the problem. Was I just needed to be more familiar with my gear so I could have quickly done stuff with the time I had. But it's, you know, it's hard to do that when you're busy, you know, trying to sell stuff at the same time. People come in the tent, you want to talk to them, you don't want to, you know, ignore them, that sort of thing. So, you know, is what it is. Made do. So I'm just doing some simple found cartoon stuff here real quick. As one woman said who came into my tent, said she told me I had a wonderful mind, which I enjoyed. That was, I mean, I've been told worse, so I will take it. Oh, and here's something else I could share. I remembered that I had made a where are you? Art Festival bingo card a few years ago, and filled it out. So I had a few bingos. Let's see here. Come on, shrink. Let's do this. No, that's not what I want. Do this. Video. Find the blank one. So that's the blank one. So I got to check off rain. I saw a flip tent. I did not have a flip tent, but I saw it. It was too hot on Friday during setup, but we had rain and wind and cold on Saturday. There were definitely kids with melting ice cream because I was right in front of Melting Moment, or not, sorry, right in front of Cold Stone Creamery, and also by Melting Moments ice cream cart thing. And I got the always popular You Should Do a Children's Book, and I got the My Kid Could Do That, which I hear a lot. I saw Purse Dog. Saw some people tearing down early, which they were in the right because they had their tents, you know, messed up. So, and then I don't, because of my setup, I don't have business cards laying out, so I would get asked if I had a business card, which is fine, because it means people actually have to talk to me, and I can just hand them one. I got the "Is this your art?" / "Are you the artist?" question several times. I got the "I'll come back later," and I saw several giant dogs. And I made my booth fee back, which was good. Saw a stroller dog. Apparently I missed a stroller cat, according to some friends who were also around. Yes, the economy came up several times, and it was too cold on Saturday, and there were screaming kids. So yeah, I had a you know, 2 bingos, almost several. Oops. So there you go. Cool. Now I know I can throw images on the screen super easy. I will make better use of that in the future. Or more use of it, I should say. Here's another art supply thing. This is your basic Pilot Precise pen, and honestly, these are, if you want like a simple, cheap, easy, pen, they're pretty good. I mean, they have a pretty good consistent line. You can do lighter lines with them too. They're not foolproof. I've definitely had issues with them, getting clogged or the tip getting bent and that sort of thing. But I mean, they're cheap and you can get them basically anywhere. And I think Scott McCloud said he did a 24-hour comic with one of these, which you definitely can. I mean, they're good for like a simple. Like you can do, easy lettering with them. You're not going to get, super expressive strokes, but, if you could only use one pen and you had to do like simple drawing stuff with it, it would definitely be a good one. I don't think it's very waterproof, but nope, it is not waterproof, but, I mean, it's still kind of there, but you could also use that for fun effects too, if you're like, like see if you want to, purposely get it to smear. Like you can definitely use that for a cool on-purpose effect. I remembered what something I wanted to think about. I was toying with making some stickers. I was going to try to think up some sticker ideas. I mean, can't go wrong with it's the simple cat face, you know. The thing is, if I do stickers, I'll draw those digitally on my iPad. Who knows? Maybe that could be what I stream Tuesday or something. As I try to streaming right from my iPad while I draw those. That might be a fun thing to try, especially during the day. We'll see. But it doesn't hurt to come up with some rough ideas that I can play around with. I mean, like I said, you can't go wrong with just cat faces. I also realize Sunday night Memorial Day weekend's probably not going to be a very high traffic night because a lot of people are on, vacation or doing fun stuff. Speaking of, here's another thing I can show. So years ago, on Memorial Day weekend, I would go to Cherry Capital Comic Con, which is in Traverse City. And so this is me circa 2014 at Cherry Capital Comic Con, which I believe was my first Cherry Capital Comic Con. So you see like a lot of just black and white stuff. I was still kind of learning things. I'd only been doing comics for like barely 2 years, I think, at that point. But, you got to start somewhere. And this was me, like, getting stuff printed off at like FedEx Kinko's or whatever and doing it myself and all that sort of thing. And but yeah, that was my regular Memorial Day weekend plans for several years. And basically, I think 2019 was probably 2018, 2019 was probably my last one I did. And that would have been 2019 because 2018 was my first year. 2018 was my first year doing East Lansing Art Festival, and I had already planned doing Capital City or Cherry Capital Comic Con in Traverse City. And then the next year, 2019, I did it again. But by that point, I had been doing enough art festivals where I was kind of realizing Comic Cons weren't really my best place for my audience. I guess the best way to put that. Nothing against Comic Cons. I love going to them. I am interested in possibly trying to show at one at some point ever again. But just like I was making 10 times as much at art festivals. It wasn't even close, so yeah. But like I said, you just, you gotta start somewhere. And I started by doing Comic Cons, and back when I was doing more comic stuff, which I haven't really for the last few years, just because I just had way more success with the fine art stuff, as it's called. And like it wasn't even close. Like to like make anywhere near the money at Comic Cons that I'm making at art festivals, I would either have to like go all in on fan art and just sell, prints of fan art stuff, which I don't want to do. And I made the choice several years ago to not worry about that, and I don't regret it. And or you have to have like books, and I've done that, and selling comic books and is great and all, but that's years of work to make something, and then you gotta get printed up. Either you go through someone else to publish it, which would be great, that would be ideal, or if you're self-publishing it, then you gotta do all that stuff yourself, which is another big headache and process. And whereas I can make original art and sell at art festivals, and it's a fraction of the time compared to like compiling and doing all the work for a comic book or a collection of comics or something. And yeah. And, making prints of my original art too is, again, a lot easier. So like to compare, to do some simple math. So like when I had a comic collection I did a few years ago, that was, 100 pages. And that was basically, that was a page a week I was doing, essentially. It wasn't 100 comic pages per se, but let's just say it was for the simplicity of it. So that was, over almost 2 years, a little under 2 years of work, just getting all those pages. I mean, obviously, if I didn't have a book plan to start with, so I was just doing a page every week to begin with. And eventually got to the point where I could do a book. The flip side of that is if you're planning to do a book, then if that's what you're working on, then I could have done that number of pages obviously a lot faster. But as it was, that was over a year, almost 2 years of work just getting the 100 pages of comics. And then I had to do the cover, do all the book layout, get them printed, and they cost me about, I don't know, $8 to $10 a copy, I think. And then I would sell them for 20. So I'm making, $12 to $10 a book, which isn't bad. This is a full color book too. So, if you're doing like smaller black and white stuff, it'd be way cheaper to produce and easier and all that sort of thing. But, to compare to this season where I made my, I had my 12 by 12 prints I did of my 24 by 24 originals. I had my 11 by 14 prints I did. It didn't take me a year to make all those original pieces. And I mean, probably combined total days, it was over a course of long period of time, but, and then I just took those that dropped off to get scanned and then made in the prints, and then I can get those remade. And the costs are about, they're not too far off from this, maybe a little less than it. It depends. There's a lot of factors, but it's still more cost effective because then I sell them for $40, and they're limited edition. So that's the trade off, is I only have 100 of these, whereas like with the book, I could have thousands of copies of it. But there's trade-offs for everything. And then yeah, so I guess to get to the point, like if you want to make it at Comic Cons, like if you want to sell your comics, you can absolutely do that, but it's a lot of work to get all that stuff. And I just had better success in the first couple years I did art festivals than I did in the several years I was doing Comic Cons. So it was an easy decision for me. I still love making comics, and I still want to do more with comics and all that. And thankfully, at least with my cartooning stuff, I'm still kind of using those skills. But, you know, it's, as the saying goes, comics can break your heart, and that is absolutely true. Because it's something you can like really love doing, and it can just be very frustrating to try and have any success with it. But a lot of that, again, is just, you know, you got to find your audience and all that. All right. Well, my voice is barely hanging on, so I'm going to call this good for tonight. Keep tuned to my socials. Maybe I'll do something Tuesday at some point. I don't know yet, but thanks for watching, and stay tuned. It could be a couple weeks before I do this again, which is not ideal, but that's what I get for starting this right as art festival season started. So if this was like winter, I would not be missing any Sundays whatsoever. So I'll see you again. Thank you for watching.